I mean, you never know, do you? When you're on your own. But it's not very nice, is it? Oh, I always keep that jet on, yeah. It's never off. I have to. I don't leave it on all night, like, but I leave it on during day. Because it's that cold and drafty. Well, I've only gas fire, and if it's too cold to sleep on settee. I have done that when bad weather were on. Because it's too cold, there's no heating whatsoever upstairs. Just look at this. It's disgusting. All this lot. I think it's terrible. I mean, you can't even have a bath in here. You have to go out, have one, go to neighbours.
By the time the new building scheme is finished, 1,682 old houses will have been demolished and 500 new ones built. Many families will have been dispersed across Sheffield and the manor itself transformed.
Don't move until you get what you want.
No.
That's the important part of it. Because when you're moving to stay there. We're not looking towards moving about.
No.
I mean, I've told them straight they'll move me in a box off at Manor, not for me to walk out of this property off of the Manor.
No, well,
I want a Manor property.
Here, aren't they?
Well, that's it. We've been, I think we've grown old together, more or less.
Yes.
As kids have been brought up on this estate. And it's a terrible wrench when you're told you've got to leave.
Yes, it is.
Even though some of the properties, I mean, they are unfit to live in. You still cling hold of memories and that.
Well, you do.
I mean, I think if you have been told there's no two-bedroom properties, this is an incorrect statement to make.
Yeah.
They are actually saying to you, it's not worth you while waiting because there are no beds. We know they are.
We sit and watch them plan it out and we
I
ask
mean,
these
we
questions,
are
you know.
given the plans of all the properties they're going to build. We actually participate. I mean, not enough people on the manor do participate. I mean, half a dozen people shouldn't be saying to this council and the workers there, well, that's all right for us. Shouldn't be like that.
No.
It should be more people participating.
Yes.
But getting more people to come in and say what they feel about things is a different situation, because a lot of people stand in awe of these people that they're authority and that they know what they're doing, even if you don't. But don't believe that, love, because you know what you're bloody doing and they don't, half the time. I mean, I'm being honest and fair about it.
Yes.
I've been a tenant rep now for 4 years under this demolition. We live on the manor. We're manor people.
Yes.
And we dearly want our people to have the best deal they can get. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
It's a pity, really. You know, it's always been a close community, and you know, it's just lost. It's just lost now, gone.
Mick was saying it, you know, it has changed because things has been flattened, but that was only because it stayed at houses. I mean, it would be ideal if they could fetch all them families back and let the community be once again manor.
Sheffield, capital of steel, heart of a great industry. Here, hidden from view by a smoke umbrella, live and work the men whose craftsmanship is supreme. Weekly, they set new records for steel production. In Sheffield, steel touches on the lives of all. Nearly half the city's insured population actually work in the industry.
She raised a tiny gloved hand to one of the golden ringlets that hung around her ears and toyed with it carelessly. Moved her head slightly to the thick, smooth hair that fell in a cascade down the centre of her back and touched it gingerly. She lowered the magazine and stared deliberately at the dog-legged youth.
It makes me feel very sick, really, and very disillusioned with human race, because there's that much work that can be done, that is there, that does want doing. We've no steel industry left. We've a basis of a building industry. I mean, we're really a nation of shopkeepers, not producers at all. I mean, country's producing nothing.
Sheffield City Council estimate that 35% of Manor's working population is unemployed.
I just get a job here and a job there, and I kept on travelling, you know. I worked building trades, in the mills, cotton mills, the woolen mills, anything at all, scrapyard jobs, anywhere at all. I used to be strong there, you know. Yeah, real good, you know. And wherever I went, I always appreciated it, because I was a grafter, and I knew how to do it. Because we were taught that way, and when you're taught that way, naturally you know for a fact, when times were rough those days, you'd never get a job unless you were willing to have a bash. So I did, I just had a bash, and that was it, and take it out the bloody lot. I thought, well, this is it. You might as well get your head down into it and enjoy it.
I always remember him coming home with a bloody Parker pen and pencil for 34 years, labour at Firth Grounds, and he thought he'd got the world. He really thought they'd given him something, and I was so angry because he was so bloody pathetically grateful. A good man like that, actually grovelling because they'd give him a pen and pencil for 34 years of his life. My husband died in absolute poverty. Because I was on strike, as far as anybody was concerned in authority, they helped him on his way at the finishing up by visiting here and asking whether he was slinging the leg at that time, they used to term it. And that man stood and couldn't understand why he'd been sent here, and said, well, I know that man's not going to work anymore. My husband heard it because he didn't know that. And he was dead in 48 hours.
I've got friends who've worked for firms all their life, and they've always said, well, I've got a job for life. I'm working for this firm for the rest of my life. I'm the oldest workman that they've got. And then 6 months later, they're redundant, or shortly after. I mean, I've got a friend now that used to keep birds, and he went through that whole thing. He had to get rid of his birds because he couldn't afford to keep them at all. I mean, they weren't supporting themselves. But now he's really a forlorn bloke. He spends all his time watching television, no matter what, whether he's sat in front of television. And really, he's really gloomy.
I'm going for a test on Thursday. And then if I pass the test, I'll go on for an interview for an apprentice electrician. Basically, I just want to get a job, a good job, so I can carry on. I weren't looking forward to leaving school because I know what it was going to be like with jobs and everything. Most of my